Hi, I'm Elisha, and welcome back to Elisha's Space, your sanctuary for healing and growth. Today, we are diving into something deeply personal that affects millions of women, the mother wound, and specifically how this early attachment trauma keeps you trapped in a cycle of toxic relationships where you give everything and receive crumbs in return. If you find yourself constantly attracted to emotionally unavailable partners, if you're always the one doing the emotional heavy lifting, if you feel like you're never enough no matter how much you sacrifice, this isn't a coincidence, and I want you to hear this clearly. It's not your fault. What happened in your earliest relationship with your mother or primary caregiver created a blueprint for how you experience love. And today we're going to understand that blueprint, recognize the patterns, and most importantly, learn how to rewrite it. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 5 core ways the mother wound shows up in your relationships, and I'll give you practical tools to start breaking free. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about what the mother wound actually is, because understanding the why is crucial to your healing. The mother wound is attachment trauma that occurs when the bond between mother and child is disrupted. This doesn't mean your mother was a terrible person or that she didn't love you. Often, mothers who wound their daughters are themselves wounded. They're passing down intergenerational trauma they never healed from. The mother wound can look like emotional neglect. Your feelings weren't validated or acknowledged. Conditional love. You had to earn affection through achievement or good behavior. Enmeshment. You became your mother's emotional caregiver, losing your own identity. Criticism and comparison. Nothing you did was ever quite good enough. Abandonment. Physical or emotional unavailability during critical development years. Here's what the research tells us. According to attachment theory, children form internal working models of relationships based on their primary caregiver interactions. When that bond is inconsistent, critical, or emotionally unavailable, you internalize a belief that love must be earned, that your needs don't matter, and that you're fundamentally unworthy. In my practice, I've worked with countless women who describe their childhood as fine or not that bad. But when we dig deeper, they realize that they were walking on eggshells, constantly trying to manage their mother's emotions or feeling invisible in their own home. And here's the heartbreaking part. That little girl inside you is still trying to earn the love she never fully received. Except now, she's doing it with romantic partners. Now, let's connect the dots. Here are the 5 core patterns that keep you stuck. Pattern number 1. You're attracted to emotionally unavailable partners. If your mother was emotionally distant, critical, or inconsistent, emotional unavailability feels like home to you. It's familiar. Your nervous system recognizes it. So when you meet someone who's warm, consistent, and emotionally present, it feels boring, uncomfortable, even suffocating. But when someone is hot and cold, breadcrumbing you, making you work for their attention, your brain lights up because it says, I know this game. If I just try harder, I can win their love. Let me tell you about a client I'll call Sarah. She kept dating men who would pursue her intensely, then pull away the moment she reciprocated. She'd spend months analyzing what she did wrong, trying to be better. When we traced it back, her mother had been loving one day and cold the next. Sarah never knew which version she'd get. She was literally recreating that dynamic, hoping for a different outcome. The psychology here is called repetition compulsion. We unconsciously recreate unresolved trauma, hoping to finally fix it and get the love we need. Pattern 2, you have no boundaries. If you were parentified as a child, meaning you had to take care of your mother's emotional needs, you never learned that your needs matter too. You learned that love means self-sacrifice, that your value comes from what you provide for others. This shows up as saying yes when you mean no, tolerating disrespect because you're afraid of conflict, giving endless chances to people who repeatedly hurt you, feeling guilty for having needs or taking up space. Here's what scripture reminds us in Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're sacred protection for your emotional and spiritual well-being. Problem 3, you're a people pleaser who loses yourself. When love was conditional growing up, when you had to be perfect, achieve, or suppress your true self to receive affection, you learned to shapeshift, to become whoever others needed you to be. In romantic relationships, this looks like abandoning your interests, your friends, and values to match your partners, constantly monitoring their mood and adjusting your behavior, feeling responsible for their happiness, having no idea who you actually are outside the relationship. And the tragic irony, the more you lose yourself trying to keep someone, the less they respect you, because deep down they sense you don't respect yourself. Pattern 4. You tolerate crumbs and call it love. If your mother's love was inconsistent, sometimes warm, sometimes withholding, you develop what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. This is the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. When rewards, love, attention, validation come unpredictably, your brain becomes hypervigilant, constantly scanning for signs of approval. You become so addicted to the highs because the lows are so painful. So when a partner gives you just enough attention to keep you hooked, but never enough to feel secure, your brain interprets those breadcrumbs as love. You think, see, he texted me back. He does care. You're not crazy. You're responding to a pattern your nervous system learned decades ago. Pattern 5. You have a deep fear of abandonment. If your mother was physically or emotionally absent through addiction, mental illness, divorce, or simply being overwhelmed, you internalize the belief that people you love will leave, that you're not worth staying for. This can manifest as clinging to relationships that are clearly over, staying in toxic situations because being alone feels unbearable, testing partners constantly to see if they'll leave, sabotaging good relationships because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Here's what I need you to understand. Your fear of abandonment is not evidence that you're unlovable. It's evidence that you were abandoned when you needed someone most. And that little girl inside you is still terrified it will happen again. Now here's the good news, and I really want you to hear this. You're not doomed to repeat these patterns forever. The mother wound can be healed. It takes worse, yes, but it's absolutely possible. Here are 4 practical steps to start breaking free. Step 1, grieve what you didn't receive. You cannot heal what you don't acknowledge. Take time to grieve the mother you needed but didn't have. This isn't about blaming her, it's about validating your own pain. Here's a journal prompt. The little girl in me needed, and let yourself write freely. Cry if you need to. Rage if you need to. Your emotions are valid. Step 2, reparent yourself. You must become the nurturing, consistent, unconditionally loving presence that you never had. This means speaking to yourself with compassion, not criticism. Meeting your own needs instead of waiting for others to do it. Creating safety and predictability in your daily life. Celebrating yourself for who you are, not for what you achieve. Isaiah 66:13 says, as a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you. Allow God to fill the gaps where human love fell short. You are deeply, unconditionally loved, not for what you do, but for who you are. Step 3, build secure attachment with yourself first. Before you can have healthy relationships with others, you need a healthy relationship with yourself. This means learning to self-soothe when you're anxious instead of seeking external validation. Trusting your own perceptions and feelings. Keeping promises to yourself, spending time alone without feeling abandoned. Practice this daily. Place your hand on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths and say, I am here for you. You are safe. You are enough. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system and rewires your attachment patterns. Step 4, choose different awareness without action keeps you stuck. You must consciously choose partners and relationships that feel different, even if they feel uncomfortable at first. If someone is consistent, emotionally available, and treats you well, and it feels boring or too easy, that's not a red flag. That's your nervous system encountering something unfamiliar called secure attachment. Lean into that discomfort. It's where your healing lives. Set non-negotiable standards. I will not tolerate emotional unavailability. I will not chase anyone for basic respect. I will not sacrifice my identity for someone's approval. I will not stay where I'm not valued. And here's the key, enforce them, even when it's hard, even when you're scared of being alone. Listen, if you've made it this far in the video, I know this resonated with you. And I want you to know something. Recognizing these patterns is the first step. You're already on the path to healing. The mother wound is not your fault, but healing, it is your responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No partner can fill the void your mother left. But you can save yourself. You can become the mother you needed. You can break the cycle. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 5 patterns resonated most? What one boundary you're committing to set this week? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe. It helps me reach more women who need this message. And if you want to go deeper, check out my video on how to regulate your nervous system in 60 seconds when triggered, where I walk you through nervous system regulation techniques. Remember, you are worthy of love. That doesn't require you to shrink, perform, or beg. You are worthy of relationships where you can be fully yourself, and you are worthy of healing. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You're doing better than you think.